So, starting off this chapter is going to be the main glitch of the game, which is polearm jumping. Essentially, you want to do a polearm air combo and ripper mode as you start the second swing like this. The timing can be a bit hard to get down, but it gives you a massive vertical boost, letting you go out of bounds. After that, you want to do 1 to 5 slashes, depending on how much height you need. More slashes giving you more height, and then cancel that with blade mode. The reason you want to cancel with blade mode is because otherwise you have to deal with the backswing before you actually start moving forward. One thing that I should note is that if you're just barely missing out on one of these jumps and you need a bit of extra distance, you can mash out blade modes like this to go slightly more forward than by just holding up. It's not that big of a deal, but it can save you in a few situations, so just know that that exists. Anyway, it's not really much to say about this glitch, like it's mostly just muscle memory, so you can just look at my inputs and try to replicate what I'm doing, or just try it for yourself. One thing that I should note for PC is that if you can't maintain a steady 60 frames per second while doing this, then it gets a lot harder, so just look at the ground or look at the sky or something to try and maximize your frame rate, because that makes it a lot easier. Anyway, once you feel comfortable doing that, you want to jump over here and do a regular combo and then cut and blade mode to get up here, like just a regular polearm combo. There's this invisible block right here that you need to get onto to skip the next fight, so the fastest way of doing this is to just jump off the railing and do a single polearm jump, but it's pretty hard and I would not recommend it for basically anyone. The more like realistically doable way is to land on like a tiny ledge on this bridge above me here, so you can get another jump and do another polearm jump off of. So there's one here, like basically where I'm jumping between the railing and the black line. There's another one in this corner and another one like right here or something. You can experiment with which one you like the most, so just do whatever. So do a polearm jump and just mash jumps here and try to do another polearm jump after that. There's no real point in trying to time it, because the timing for the jump is fairly precise, but the timing for the polearm jump is not nearly as precise. So yeah, that should get you up here. You can try to like do the first polearm jump without the railing if you want to be ever so slightly faster, but it's really not that big of a deal. Anyway, once you're up here and you move along here, there's this wall in front of you, so you want to jump off here, but make sure to not go too much left, as you can still hit the trigger for the fight, and you obviously want to avoid that. So I usually curve a bit to the right and then just jump over here and slide into the trigger. It's actually faster to mash than to hold for coded conversations, so no rest for your poor fingers. The most consistently fast way to get up these boxes is to do a ninja running jump up here and then do manual jumps all the way up, simply because the ninja running animations are very inconsistent and often slow. So yeah. Anyway, once you're here, jump over to this chest, jump over here, and like as you're doing this jump, you want to let go of ninja run in the air so that you're walking instead, because you have higher jumps when you're just walking around than when you're ninja running, and you want to do a polearm jump right here. It's probably one of the harder ones in the game, so if you can't do this, there's a backup that I'll show, but as you can see, I use this wooden part to see if I'm high enough, or like before I basically abandon a failed attempt. So as you can see, it's about just a bit below chest height. So if I'm like below that, then I'll just abandon the attempt instantly and try for another. Another thing that I do is that I try to spam jumps here, because if you're like barely about to succeed, then you can hit this sort of the same kind of ledge as when you were jumping onto the block over there, and then just slide down. So I try to jump here to increase consistency. Anyway, just jump your way over here. Jump over here. Like, you don't have to do that, you can take a slower route, since there's a big void here, and you know, if you fall you just have to do it all over again, but this is the fastest way. So just jump all the way over here, and yeah. For the backup, which basically takes you to the same place, you want to just run down this hallway and like deal with the codec there, like it just happens, oh well. Then cut the guy in the corridor like once or something. Then when you're out here you can do hold arm jump here to get onto this thing, then do another one to get on here, and you're basically in the same spot as the other method. So you're just jumping along, and try to go straight here, because if you go too much left or right you can actually fall down, and that just sort of ruins everything. Here there's another like invisible wall, but it's pretty small, so you don't really need to do any slashes or anything here, just jump onto it. So the technique that you'll mostly be using for switching weapons is to simply jump and then let go of Ninja Run in the air, and once you land just start mashing the equipment button, because if you jump and then you let go Ninja Run after, you have to do that stumble thing, which is slow, and we don't want to go slow. So just jump, let go, and then mash, and then you'll pretty much instantly open the equipment menu once you land. Anyway, here you want to equip none, so you can do falling lightning. So just jump along here, and right in front of us here there's sort of a gap between this building and the next, so falling lightning and jump along here. The collision here ends about where this line is, and you want to land on top of that thing, like the walkway or whatever you would call it over there. The fastest way is to land a bit more left, because then you hit the cutscene trigger for Blade Wolf immediately, rather than having to walk into it afterwards. But like going a bit more right to be safe is alright if you're not really sure where to jump or whatever. Just make sure to not go too far right, like right in front of me here, because that part is not even solid at all. So yeah, just run here, jump, falling lightning, and hit the cutscene trigger. During the pre-fight cutscene, you want to mash out RP grenades, then Ripper mode, lock on, walk to his left side, equip pincer blades, swing once, and charged, and then charge a pincer 2. Once he's dead, turn this way, and equip Psy. Skip through this codec conversation, skip through the score screen, and then jump your way along here. The trigger for the helicopters shooting at you actually doesn't happen unless you're on the ground, so if you land on these barriers, you just want to walk or slide off of them instead of doing another jump. So go down to get past these cars because they're just annoying, then get back to the middle. You only have to hit this thing 3 times to successfully do the QTE. Unless you're scared, of course. For this one, you can just like run and jump down the middle and then ninja run over that car, and you should make it. So once you hit this strip of pavement, you want to jump and sigh and spin your stick to avoid flinching here. And then you want to do another one of those equip things and equip pincer blades right here. So just move your way along here. And as you probably know, blade mode slows down time, but if you Ripper and then blade mode, time gets pretty ridiculous. Like, he's moving incredibly slowly. Just look at that, he's not even trying. So yeah, that's what we're gonna use for this next part. So you can't really slide into this trigger, it's pretty inconsistent, so just walk into it and then skip past these codecs. So cut this, and then you're gonna want to use Ripper Blade mode to skip this next fight right here. Basically by going into Ripper Blade mode and then just walking past them before the orange barriers have spawned. So the way to do this, or well, the way I do this, is to just premature Ripper mode, and then the fastest point at which you should blade mode is about where the shadow meets the like the light meets the shadow on the fountain there in front of me. I don't know if that's clear, but basically that's like the last possible point where you should start blade moding. So just use that as a reference point, and then like usually just do it a bit before and then walk here. And the barrier goes up once this guy has gone past it, but you have, like, if you do it early, you just have a lot of time, and the barrier is like right here. So yeah, he can actually block you out, which is why you need to be pretty early for that. But yeah, congratulations, you've successfully skipped that fight. So just run up on the left side here to skip the ninja run for that green box, and then do regular ninja runs up here. And woohoo! So you want to get seen by these first two guys to distract a later enemy, so just jump really conspicuously. And then that guy over there, basically, I know how safe I am by how quickly he starts moving, so if he starts moving almost immediately, then you can take a much less safe route. But like, as long as you try to stick to this wall closely enough and then go right of this tree, then you should be fine. Anyway, gotta go before the gecko sees me. So just jump your way along here and hit this button. Slide into this trigger and smash through the codec. It's actually faster on PC to just checkpoint restart after this, but on console you just run down this hill here. So for fences, you basically just want to run to the left of a part, cut twice, and then jump through like that. It's the most consistent method really. So as you're starting this fight, you want to run to the left of this forklift, cut it once, and basically it'll despawn later, which is useful for a lot of things. One mechanic that's like starts to become relevant in this fight is that like most cyborg enemies, as they're spawning in, have some sort of spawn immunity until their like animation is finished, so you're basically just wasting time if you try to cut them as soon as they jump in most cases. So run in, cut this once, turn your camera like this, and then cut these guys, run to this corner here to despawn the forklift, cut this guy once his spawn immunity ends, cut this guy, and then basically where I am right now is where a gecko will spawn, so I want to run in sort of like, just like run in a circle and hopefully hit it as it spawns, like that, and then finish off these two which are in the back. These fans are pretty annoying. The easiest way is to just run between the two like this and then mash and see which one is the best one. Like obviously you would also skip the score screen there, but I was just showing it off. Anyway, just jump in, jump up here, and then like as you probably know there are lasers here, Fastest way is to just jump over them. You can also activate AR in the air, and that'll like obviously ninja run you through them. So going through here, you want to do like either again AR or a manual slide here, either one will work. So one stealth mechanic in this game is that if you have ninja run activated as you're landing from a jump, then enemies will hear you a lot more easily. So just toss an RP grenade out onto the catwalk, and then let go of ninja run as you're landing to basically get by them completely stealthily. Then just make your way up these stairs. Slide into the trigger and boom, you're at Mistral. So hold your pincer after the cutscene and then let go. Easy first phase. You don't want to cut during this QT, it's slower, so just activate bleed mode and deactivate instantly. So for phase 2, charge pincers again, and yeah, pretty easy fight. You can do pretty much anything besides parrying here, so like get a hit, block it, whatever. Once the checkpoint thing shows up, checkpoint restart, then you want to run over here and do a pincer cancel to land onto that black part right here, and then as soon as she attacks, you let go, and then you do the QT. Basically, in case you missed it, a pincer cancel is done by pressing Y, doing a defensive offense, and then holding Y. Pretty simple. But yeah, don't cut her there again, and woohoo, you're done. It doesn't really matter if you skip the score screen, because it seems to be animation based, so whatever really. Skip through this codec. So keep in mind, like during the ending screens from R01 to R07, it's going to ask if you want to customize, like after this checkpoint save. So what I do is hit A here, hit right, and then hit A again, and boom, R02.